Hey, Chef Tom here. Today we're at my local Walmart. I oftentimes run here whenever I need something quickly. It's very close to my house. This video will be about my recommendations and opinions and different things that you can purchase at Walmart. It's a two-part video. This is the second part. In this part, we go over pots and pans and cooking appliances. In the first video, I went over utensils, knives, cutting boards, and miscellaneous items. Now we're in the pots and pans section right now and other heavy duty type things. When it comes to pots and pans, I'll do the tap test. You can just feel how cheap it is. You want to go for something that's thicker. Can't go wrong with thick. Like these are the Time and Table brand. I mean, they look nice. They're kind of a medium thickness compared to that one, but still on the thin side. Also these non-sticks. They'll oftentimes say that they're like last you a lifetime, but the Teflon will start to come off, especially if you're using like a metal type utensil, like a tong or a spoon in there. This Teflon will come off within like a month or two. I do have one at my house that is pretty good. They're like 80 bucks though, compared to like, what's this, 27 bucks. So I would definitely do research. Like something like this, so you can get away with something like this, like if you're in college or if you are like even in a young family and you don't want to spend that much money. Like if I didn't have any kind of pan, I would definitely get, like I wouldn't scoff at having this pan. Especially a bigger one. Like a 12-inch is good, and then maybe having a little one for something else. So I would have like a big one, a small one, and probably like a medium-sized one. This Calphalon brand is really good. They have different tiers. You might have ones for like home, or you have ones that are more professional style. Yeah, you have this Pioneer Woman's stuff again. These ones with the higher edges are good for like if you're gonna have more saucy type items in there. But yeah, this is definitely a fashion statement right here. Those Ninja food stick, I bet you after a while they will become stick, even though it says right there. I mean, I've not used them, so I can't say anything for sure about that. I mean, that's a $200 set right there. If you're gonna spend $200 on a set, definitely do your research. And I probably wouldn't get it at Walmart unless I knew beforehand that they carried it and it was exactly what I wanted. But yeah, you have all these different non-stick brands here. I personally wouldn't buy these. I have a lot of pots and pans at home. If I didn't have anything, I would definitely pick up one of these. You're starting out, you can't go wrong with cheap. This is kind of interesting. I don't know if I would really use square. I've seen square before. I'm not really sure if that's for me though. It's kind of like a mix between a sheet. It's basically like a sheet tray with a handle on it, but I don't know how well it would do with like actually cooking, like on a flame, like on an open flame. Got your Tasty brand, that's a pretty cheap set right there. Tefal, you got a wok. You're gonna wanna pick the right tool for what you're doing. Like a wok is great for stir fries and other Asian style dishes. But out of all the brands here, we have the Faberware, we have the Tefal. Faberware is a little bit more expensive than Tefal. Tasty, probably about the same as the Tefal. The blue looks like it's slightly more expensive than the Tasty. I mean, you're gonna want to either, if you're going to pick a brand, you're either going to pick a style or whatever. I would pick a pan. If you're going to buy a pan like this though, definitely do the tap test. Get one that doesn't, I'd pick the one that doesn't feel the cheapest. Like this one looks nice, it looks pretty solid, but it's pretty thin. So let's do the tap test. Cheap, like you can even hear on this one. That's pretty cheap and hollow. Pretty cheap. This wok, pretty cheap. This is pretty cheap. All this stuff is super cheap. You got this stuff over here. I mean, it's all about the same really. I would just pick one that looks nice to you. This one actually feels pretty heavy. It even says heavyweight on it. Out of all the ones I've tapped, this one's probably the thickest. I think Mainstays is even the Walmart brand. This is heavyweight on it. Heavyweight non-stick. Like, this one's pretty cheap. Like you can hear that compared to this one. I mean, they sound kind of same, but I can feel the difference. Even though they're the same brand and they say heavyweight, that one feels cheaper even though it says heavyweight. Ooh, this one's kind of nice. I kind of like that one. It says it's a cast iron wok. Yeah, cast iron's good. It'll retain the heat better. So the thing with picking out thin pans versus thick pans is with the thicker pans, you're gonna be able to hold the heat better. The pans retain the heat. So when you add your items into the pan, when it's hot, the food will drop the temperature of the pan and that might make your food stick. But if the pan is of a thicker material, it'll hold the temperature better when you're adding items to it. And then even if you turn the heat off, like say with a really thick cast iron pan like this, you heat that up in the oven and it'll hold its temperature for quite a while. It takes longer to heat up. Like thicker pans take longer to heat up compared to thin pans, but they retain the heat longer. That's cool. I didn't know they had cast iron here. I'm not sure what the price is on this. This is like a whole cast iron section right here. Lodge is good. I like Lodge. You even have the Mainstay brand, which, I mean, it feels solid. Cast iron pans last you a long time. They even have these cast iron like casserole style dishes here, like little ones too. I mean, if cast iron's your thing and you take care of it, like sure, I would definitely buy this. You even have like your scrubbing pad and your spray for it. And these usually come pre-seasoned too, so you don't even have to season them. If you're interested in how to repair cast iron and how to season it, I have a video on that. Check it out. Big pots and stuff like this, like stock pots, soup pots, definitely need that in your kitchen. I mean, something that has a lot of moisture in it, like a soup or something, you don't necessarily need to worry about the thickness of it once you get that moisture in there. Like if you're going to like cook off some mirepoix down in here, some garlic, it might burn easier if it's like super thin metal. Once you add that moisture to it, like the liquid that you put in a soup or a stock, you don't need to worry about it so much. I definitely prefer stainless steel over like an aluminum. Like this is stainless steel right here. This one looks like it's an aluminum. Yeah, this one's an aluminum. This one's like a stainless steel. It depends on the quantity of whatever you're making. It'll determine what size pot you need basically, but I would always get a pot like probably this size and then maybe one like this size. And then I don't have anything at my house that's this big, but in a professional setting, you definitely need something bigger like this or even bigger than this. These citrus squeezers are really nice though too. I prefer these over the dome ones where you push down on it. I prefer these squeeze handle style ones. Looks like the cup from Indiana Jones that they drink out of. Yeah, you got some more Lodge stuff here. $89 for a 5-piece cast iron set. I mean, that's pretty good. If I had a lot of money, I would maybe even just buy it just for the fun of it. Mason jars are really good if you're doing the canning. Food savers are really nice if you're got a lot of spare foods. You got like 150 model. You have an 89. I mean, even the 89 is good. Depends on how much you're gonna use it. Looks like you even have a cheaper one down there. I'm not sure what the price is at. It might be 79. If you got a big freezer and you're freezing like meats and even vegetables, getting that air out of the bag and making that airtight seal on there helps preserve the food for quite a while, and it's professional looking too. Oh, the old coffee maker aisle and the appliances. I had some friends that had a George Foreman when I was like 20 and I'm like 40 now, and they used it quite often. They liked it. It's not something I would buy. You got these double burners and stuff down here. I'd be careful. I've gone on caterings before and we've had cheap like electric skillets like this, or even the more expensive ones. I've had a wide range. I've had professional griddles and I've had cheap Walmart griddles that I've gone on caterings with, and they end up blowing the fuses in the houses quite easily. Like they always trip the breaker. But I mean, you would have to research that if that's something you're interested in. But I could see that being very convenient if you're going on a catering and it's what, $30? I mean, your mileage may vary. Probably bought this exact same brand many times just for work. The health inspector doesn't like that though, because on the bottom of the griddle it'll say for home use only or not for commercial use. The health inspector sees that, they will probably dock some points or whatever. Yeah, these are all interesting. I've never used anything like this before. They have, you know, like the Instapots. I have an Instapot in my house and it works pretty good. It's like a mix of a steamer and a like rice cooker. I do not have an air fryer in my house. I've only used an air fryer once, but people love them, I guess. If that's something you're interested in, definitely do your research, because I mean, this one's like $134 down here. I'm not sure what the average price is, but if you're gonna spend more money, definitely do your research. That's all I can say about that. Instapot's pretty nice. They cook stuff super quick. It's like the quickest way you can cook something. Steaming is the most efficient, quickest way you can cook things. You're not gonna get browning on it, obviously, but that steam really penetrates the food. Like if you're cooking rice or beans or something like that, or even chicken, like making a soup, you need to make a soup really quick. It has beans and rice in it, just throw it in there, set it. I've seen this brand before. I've used that. We actually have one of these at work currently, and it works great. You put like 1 cup of rice in there, you put 1 cup of water in there, you hit rice, walk away, come back. It's cooked and it's hot, and it's done quite well. Crock pots are great. The Instapots are like the step up from the crock pot. Crock pot you let sit there all day. Instapot does the thing quicker. Like if you're doing a roast or something, I'd probably do it in a crock pot. If you needed the roast done super quick, you could do it in the Instapot. They even have like a little rotisserie oven in here. Interesting. It's probably like a microwave technology type thing. Blenders. We always had these Oster brands growing up. Seem all right. They lasted a while, but that was back in the 80s and early 90s. So nowadays it seems like they make things cheaper. They don't last as long. Hamilton Beach is a brand I've heard of. I mean, $30 for a blender, I'd probably say it's all right. I don't really tend to like blenders that much because if you're only doing like a certain amount, it's hard to get the blade to make everything in there circulate together to become like a homogeneous mixture. You typically use a Roku or a food processor style thing for that. It just makes the food mix around in there easier. But I mean, if you have a juicier type item, blender's probably the way to go. Stick blender, I have actually this brand of stick blender. I have the complete set though. And I've had it for like, I wanna say like 7 years. It's pretty good. It's lasted me nicely. I haven't had any issues. Now, if you are using these in a professional setting, I used to have to go pick up something like this every week because we'd use it so much that the motor would burn out. And like literally I was going every week buying a new one. And I did that for like a month straight. And then I think we ended up buying a more professional model that lasted. You have like an electrical version of the slap chop type thing. I mean, they work in a pinch. It's like a mini food processor, basically. The cheaper you go with these kind of things, the quicker the blade will dull out. Ninja is probably one of the more expensive brands when it comes to straight up mixers like this. Like, have you ever seen the infomercial where they throw the iPhone in the Ninja and it just like chops it up? These mixers are pretty cool if you don't want to whisk by hand. These juicers are all right, I guess. The cheaper you go with those, the less juice they get out of the items. Like if you have like a lot of corn or something. So if you're into juicing, probably do your research on that. Oh, these KitchenAid attachment things are pretty cool. Like if you have the KitchenAid mixer, they're pretty much universal. I mean, you will want to make sure that it fits your model, but it's more like a professional style. Like these are things that I've seen in professional kitchens and they work pretty well. Like these zucchini spiralizer things. You can make zucchini noodles and stuff like that. Stand mixers. Yeah, KitchenAid's a good brand. I mean, that's what you'll see in most professional kitchens. I mean, you can't go wrong with them. I've seen them get burned out before. I've probably seen like 3 out of 15 of these end up going bad, but that's after a couple years of professional use. If I was gonna buy one of these, it would definitely be a KitchenAid brand. That's just the go-to, but I don't know, maybe these ones are good quality too. You'd have to do your research. You got little toaster oven things going on here. I could see the benefit of having them. Like, I don't know too much about them. I don't have much experience with them. Waffle makers. I've worked in a kitchen where we had like the cheapest one. I think it was this one right here, actually. And I mean, it's all right. I might even have this one at home. Whatever it was, it's the same one I had at home. We had it at a restaurant, and it works. You just need to make sure you spray them down really good. Make sure they're clean before you make sure that they're hot before you put your stuff in there. This one flips, so that's kind of cool. Flipping is probably better when it comes to waffle makers. Like a professional one I had in a kitchen had a style like this, but it was like obviously more professional. It was probably $1,000 or something. But even those, if you don't heat them up, you don't make sure they're clean and they're not sprayed down properly, even the most expensive waffle makers will stick. So toasters, I think we threw away a toaster last week at work. Handle's stuck. So I mean, for home, like if you're buying something at Walmart, like some of it might work for professional setting. Most of it's not gonna be very good though. But if you're an at-home cook and you don't have anything, like you don't have a toaster, sure. Like, what's your budget, you know? If you need the cheap toaster, get the cheap toaster, you know? Like that one's $20, that one's $50, you know? I'm sure they both toast very well. Like this is a $9 toaster right here. You got a deep fryer here. That's pretty cool. My parents used to have one of these when I was a teenager and we'd use something like that. I think it was a Fry Daddy brand though. This one's $50. I mean, that's kind of cool. If you did a lot of frying at home. Well, that about covers it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe, and I will see you around. Thanks.